Hey there folks, Tower Tech. This is my third live stream, so welcome wherever in the world you may be. Got a great show for you today, and I don't mean to brag, but you find me at the beginning of a week's annual leave, and I've got some great stuff planned for the next week. So I'm going to be building myself a streaming PC, which will feel ironic because I've got the streaming PC, my old streaming PC, sitting here right now. There's a number of reasons why I need to upgrade that, which I'll take you through in this live stream. Talk you through, I guess, the reason why that build is going to exist, the things, the criteria that I'm trying to fulfill for it, and also the price point that I'm trying to get it in at. So this is not my principal build. That, of course, is the SMA A8, which is not for the light-hearted. It's an expensive build, and I don't mean to say that from a bragging perspective, but you know, you can't have two of those. So this is a conservative build that doubles as a backup machine in order to, you know, if I was to do a significant upgrade to that machine, or indeed, God forbid, I was actually to lose it, that I would have something that I would be able to continue to edit content on. So there's a number of criteria it needs to hit, which we'll go through. I also want to talk about the WannaCry worm that has been distributed. It feels predominantly in Russia, which seems a bit odd given that it's an NSA-derived and effectively delivered virus, given all of the exchange that they've had about their elections, etc. That feels strange. I could be adding 2 and 2 together and making 34, but here we go. I like to speculate, a bit conjecture is always a bit of good fun, so we'll spend some time talking about WannaCry, and then I'm going to spend some time talking about what I'm going to call absolute core craziness. And what I mean by core craziness is, how many cores do you need in a CPU for it to work effectively? Is it 4? Is it 8? Is it 12? According to AMD, it's 16, but more on that to come. So an action-packed live stream for you. I should offer an apology at this point. It's been, I think, a smidge over 2 weeks since I did my last one. I'm going to be honest with you guys, the equipment has not been quite playing ball for me, which is part of the reason that I'm doing a new build, but I've got myself a new mixing desk, and it's not a new mixing desk by any extent. It's 5 years old or so, but I have to say has made this whole process materially easier from a live stream perspective. So yeah, I was a skeptic and I'm a convert, as I was with the headphones. Being able to hear yourself is pretty important to be able to deliver good content. So let's start with the week that I've got ahead, which is the Ryzen build or streaming PC. So this is effectively a double up editing PC. It's also well, the best way that I can describe this, guys, is I have this monitor. This is a very old Dell 30-inch monitor that is absolutely fantastic. It's horrible for gaming, astronomically disastrous for gaming. It has dreadful latency, and you click the mouse button, you get a delay when the gun fires if you're in a first-person shooter. What it has absolutely fantastic quality for is color reproduction. This monitor was calibrated out of the box. It actually came with a certificate that said this monitor has been hand calibrated to this standard. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that I've been getting into color grading and really trying to get good quality images. Now, this is a 25 by 60 by 1600 monitor, so it's a 16:9 versus the widescreen monitor, well, the ultra wide monitor that I've been using on the SMA A8. So any video editing that I'm going to do for YouTube is going to fill the whole screen, and because it's color calibrated, when I'm doing my color grading, I'm going to get really, really great representation of what that color is actually going to look like. And because everybody's got a different monitor, then I'm going to get the most accurate view that I possibly can of what that's going to look like when you guys, the most important people, actually view that content. So that's one of the reasons I'm creating myself a second build. Second reason is there is no way I can run myself a cable from the SMA A8 all the way around here. I have 3 children. If you've been taking note of my videos, I've got a 10-year-old, a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old, and lots of cables running all over the place is about as conducive for safety as a chainsaw. So I have very strict instructions from my beloved that I need to de-risk this room, which incidentally is also our kitchen. You can't see that because of the angle that you're at, but this is actually my kitchen as well. And I want something that is economical, but is going to really, really perform from a video editing perspective. Now, video editing, by its very nature, is a multi-threaded beast, so it loves cores and threads, and Ryzen absolutely plays to that space. So I'm going to do absolutely no gaming on this whatsoever. I've got 1080s in SLI in the SMA A8, so there's absolutely no need to do gaming on this PC, and Ryzen is going to absolutely nail that space for me. And there's a particular reason, if I'm honest with you, that I've chosen this moment in time to go for Ryzen, and that is an awful lot of speculation around a 16-core AMD chip set for a June or July release. Now, my health warning for this, guys, is this is complete speculation and conjecture at this point in time. I have absolutely no way of looking into a crystal ball and knowing if this is true, but the retailers are taking this very, very seriously. So if we just cut across to the others here, and what you can see is, well, this is a page from the Inquirer. Now, I actually use the Inquirer for work. It's a great resource to understand trends, etc., that are going on in the IT industry. And you can see here that UK retailers in particular seem to be gearing up for a 16-core Whitehaven CPU from AMD. And they've been absolutely slashing their prices. Now, bear in mind, guys, this was a ridiculously competitive CPU when this came out. And, you know, by way of comparison, a 6900 i7 was around £1,000, an 1800X, less than half that price at £499, and a 1700, that's a 1700 flat, an absolutely stonking deal. Now, this is absolutely the overclocking beast of the bunch. Get yourself a decent motherboard, and you can easily push equal, if not better, performance to the 1800X, which is almost certainly what I'm going to do. And we're slashing the prices of these, and these things have only been out for a couple of months. That's absolutely phenomenal. I'm absolutely staggered that AMD are delivering this level of performance and competitiveness. What feels a little bit disappointing, and again, guys, my health warning to this is there is some speculation and conjecture to this, is that Intel seem to be going down the mega-core, mega-thread route. Now, bear in mind, I've just said that there's a 16-core variant of AMD coming out, but Intel are looking to release a 12-core, 24-thread 7920X, which will be great if they match AMD from a competitive point of view on their pricing structure. That would be absolutely fantastic. I highly doubt that that is likely to be the case. I suspect that we're going to end up with an ever-increasing cost ratio for the high-end desktop enthusiast line, 6900 at £1,000, 6950X, which came in at, I think, £1,600. I'm slightly scared about what price this CPU may come in at. But Notwithstanding that point, it feels like a great time to buy Ryzen 7, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So a 1700 flat with a good X370 board for less than 500 quid feels like an absolutely stonking deal, with comparable performance that I've been getting out of my SMA A8 from an editing perspective. I'll get the benefit of the great Dell monitor that I've got that's color calibrated, and I'll also be able to do the live streams here, which are going to be much better across a desk than they would have been sat in front of my other build. What I'm also hoping it's going to achieve is it's going to create some separation between creating content and having fun. Those things were merging catastrophically into each other. So sitting at this desk, I'm busy and I'm working, move over to there, and it's time to kick back and it's time to have some fun. So there's that's the principle anyway. So we've got a couple of comments coming through, so let's just have a quick look at those. Oh, so this guy deserves more subscribers. You're going to make it, bro. Well, that's very kind of you to say. I sincerely hope that that's the truth. I think my subscriber base is a consequence of the amount of time that I've been making content. And I'm a patient fella, and I'm a fairly determined fella as well, so I will keep going. Chris Wilcox is joining me with the wine. Happy days, and cheers to you, Chris. It's the start of my holiday, so, I know it's a Sunday night, but, I'm going to enjoy my holiday, and I'm sorry if I'm rubbing that in for people. But I haven't had a break since Christmas, so I'm feeling fairly fatigued. And Chris also got is that an 1800K or an 1800X? I think he means 1800X. Is it AMD, Chris, or is it Intel? He'll respond in a second. And a request to do some more water cooling tutorials. Would love to see everything and learning from it as well. Absolutely. The Ryzen build that I'm going to do this week is going to start off as an air build, and I don't want to spoil it all, guys. It's starting off as an air build, but the case that I'm getting, and I'm not going to give away which case it is, you're going to have to stay tuned and see the videos as they come out. The case that I'm getting, which is beautiful, is absolutely capable of taking a custom water-cooled loop. So stay tuned, have no fear, you're absolutely going to get a whole heap of really, really great content around how-to guides, how to put water blocks on CPUs, GPUs, how to flush out radiators, how to do PETG, bending, the works, guys. Stay tuned, stay subscribed if you're not, there's lots to come. So Chris confirming it's an 1800X. I thought it was. It's a good choice. Some comments around loving my channel. Guys, very kind words. Really do appreciate it. And, it's your enthusiasm into the content that I'm making that really keeps me going. So, and I have to say, guys, I'm having the time of my life doing this stuff. Sitting here talking to you guys is very therapeutic. It's very distracting from work. And, my partner even, I think, is enjoying taking the mickey out of some of the videos that I make and the comments that I make. So it's fun for all. So I opened by talking about the WannaCry virus that has just come out. Well, it's not actually a virus; it's a worm, and we'll come to that point in a second. And it's probably worth noting, guys, at this point in time, that I actually started my career in information security. I started my career as an information security analyst. I actually did a master's degree in information security, and over a period of time, I've slowly drifted into, infrastructure from a operational perspective, but also infrastructure from a delivery perspective. I've been a project and a program manager, and I'm actually leading some work on infrastructure strategy at the moment. So a fairly broad set of experiences from IT, infrastructure and security. And this WannaCry virus that has been released recently that has been pretty devastating in a lot of countries. For those that live in the UK, it won't have escaped your attention that it brought down a whole heap of NHS computer systems, rather dramatically causing them to cancel appointments, etc. Now, we're no strangers to cancelled appointments in the UK. We run on a national health service, which absolutely is a fantastic thing for us to have. But when they live under the kind of budgets that they've been delivered over the last couple of years, the conditions become quite challenging. So we're no strangers to being turned away and waiting for the doctor. But this is on an unprecedented scale, and it's a particularly nasty virus. So I keep calling it a virus. It's not a virus. This is a worm, guys. This doesn't require an exe file or an email for you to open. If it's sitting on the network that you're on, this thing can attack your computer. It will find the vulnerability and it will deploy itself. They're particularly virulent, horrible little things. And this is ransomware. And basically what this virus does is encrypts all of the files on your PC and then sends you a lovely message saying, if you want your files back, send us 300 Bitcoins. That's Bitcoins, it's not dollars, that's not sterling, it's not euros, this is Bitcoins. Bitcoins as a currency is completely untraceable. These guys are almost certainly not going to unencrypt your files, and the virus is very clever. Encrypts your files, creates a key, emails this key off to these guys, and if you send them the money, they almost certainly are not going to bother decrypting your files. I would highly recommend that you don't do this. And this is all off the back of a leak from the NSA on the tactics that they've been using to infiltrate our computers. So there have been loads of videos on Linus Tech Tips and Barnacle Nerdgasm, NCIX, Tech Tips, etc., etc., etc. Loads and loads of videos about this. It's had press coverage in the UK, and the overwhelming sentiment here, guys, is go and update your PC now. Force update it. Don't wait for the Microsoft batch deploy of the updates. Go and do it now. This is particularly virulent. It's a particularly nasty virus, and it's going to effectively completely trash your PC. You're going to lose all your files, and you're never going to get them back. So absolutely fascinating that Russia seems to have been the main target of this by, a factor of like 94% of PCs infected have been in Russia. Now, I don't know if that's a consequence of them being particularly poorly patched. I'd be surprised if there was one demographic in one country that just for whatever reason just never updated their PCs. It's very interesting that they've been particularly targeted by this virus. Notwithstanding that point, get out and update your PC. This has been created by a very mysterious group called the Shadow Brokers. Not the first time that they've appeared in the press, that I think have had particular focus on the NSA leak and are really, really making the most of it. So if we go back to the comments here. Oh, Ghost Hunter Gaming, thank you. Well done on the 500 subs. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's been hard graft. Do you think you could make a Discord server for people to ask for help for PC? I've not thought of that, if I'm honest, but that's not a daft idea. I'll have a think about that, Ghost Hunter Gaming. I'll take that away and I'll have a think about that. See if I can find a way of people contacting me with Q&A. My only fear is that if we grow to a significant place that I'll become the tech support of the world, which kind of feels like I've already been for my family for the last 20 years, but hey-ho. So Ika's asking me if two computer systems are connected in the same house to one router, but they are not members of the same working group on Windows, there is a risk of being infected. Yes. Yes is the short answer to that question. Don't take the risk. Update them. They are vulnerable. They are connected to the same LAN. The internet is just one big glorious LAN, guys, by the way. So, don't take the risk. Update now. guys, if you're watching this video and you can update now whilst you're streaming, go do it. Highly recommend it. I did this just before I jumped online, and I can't recommend it enough. And then we've got, I think that's pronounced Calistinian 2. Sorry if I've mullered that. Really like your PC rig, and the video that you made on Is How I Found Your Channel. I have a similar one with two 1080s and an 1800X. I'd love to know how the two 1080s in SLI perform with the 1800X. I would imagine that you get very similar performance. I'm going to assume that you're running yourself at a pretty high resolution. You'd be mad to be not doing that on an on two 1080s in SLI, unless you're going for some crazy frames per second. But I'd love your view on how they're running. So drop that down in the comments as we're going through. So, going to be a bit of delay there. And just to flick it up on the screen there, guys, there's an article there from the Register about the UK hospital meltdown that we had in the UK following the release of that virulent worm. Really not very pleasant at all. So I think we're going to leave it there, guys. Thank you all very much for your subscriptions and for viewing the videos. I'd really love any suggestions that you've got about future videos that you'd like me to make. So please drop those down in the comments below. I hope you're really well wherever in the world you are. And I'll see you in my next video.